Thank you all for coming. Today I have reached the decision about Chief LeRonne Armstrong's future with the department. I believe strongly in the future of Oakland. Our police department has made great strides over the years to be fair to Oakland residents and its own officers. But there is so much more to be done and to do. And my job is to make absolutely sure that we continue our progress. This investigation began last year under the previous administration. As I came to this decision, I had two major considerations in mind. First, that we appropriately address the findings of the independent investigation. Second, that we in Oakland continue our work in reforming our police department, not by checking boxes, but by instilling a culture of integrity and fairness at every level. Oakland needs a police department that welcomes opportunities for improvement rather than immediately rejecting criticism. And I made a commitment as your mayor to ensure the police department and the city can prove once and for all that Oakland is ready to ensure constitutional policing without federal oversight. Within days of being notified that the city needed time to carefully review the findings and evidence in these very serious cases, Chief Armstrong made a number of statements that troubled me.
Oh, come on.
In response to a public report that concluded that OPD had repeatedly failed to rigorously investigate misconduct and hold officers accountable,
I did nothing wrong.
Chief Armstrong said these were not incidents where officers behaved poorly. He stated that he did not believe these incidents reflected systemic problems.
It contradicts itself about the role.
Instead, Chief Armstrong described the underlying incident as a minor vehicle collision. He said the officers made mistakes. He publicly stated that the sergeant involved in a vehicle collision was held accountable, disregarding the independent investigator's findings of serious flaws in the disciplinary process. I've taken the time to review the cases and consider the evidence and conclusions as to each of the subject officers, including Chief Armstrong. Publicly discussing the merits of these discipline cases would be highly inappropriate. But I can say that it is clear to me that there are systemic issues and the city needs to address them, and that we cannot simply write them off as mistakes. The federal judge overseeing the city said that he was profoundly disappointed in the evidence he'd seen and that the report demonstrates significant cultural problems in the department. The federal monitor determined there were systemic issues serious enough to render the department out of compliance with an important requirement of the negotiated settlement agreement. And I personally believe this report shows the absolute necessity of continued reforms to address the issues that have come to light. And as Oakland continues to improve its police department, we must be confident that our chief will be effective in making sustainable improvements that can be recognized by the federal monitor, the federal court, and the people of Oakland. Oakland is committed to reform, not simply because of the conditions of the NSA, but because it is the right thing to do. I also want to add that I've had the pleasure to work beside so many fine OPD officers. These officers serve the public trust, and I've seen them work extremely hard to maintain and build this trust. They are asked to serve our city with integrity, and they show up and they do it every day. Oakland's leadership must live up to the standards we set for those officers. In order to finally bring an end to Oakland's federal oversight and not risk the investments we've made for over 20 years. It's an absolute requirement that my administration, including the chief of police, be able to work closely with the monitoring team and to speak credibly before the court. Chief Armstrong has my respect and appreciation for his service to the department and to the city that he grew up in and that he clearly loves dearly. And he will continue to have my respect and appreciation. But I am no longer confident that Chief Armstrong can do the work needed to achieve the vision. So today, I have decided to separate from Chief LeRonne Armstrong from the city without cause.
Without cause. Without cause. Oh, come on.
This was not an easy decision, but it's one I believe is necessary for that progress to continue. It's precisely because I admire Chief Armstrong that this has been personally very difficult. But this process has reinforced my commitment to making decisions based on the best interests of the department and the city of Oakland, and not based on personal feelings or relationships. Even the decision to place Chief Armstrong on paid administrative leave was difficult. I did not make that decision because I had prejudged the outcome. Instead, I did in order to keep an open mind. I've now had time to weigh the information. I'm sharing my thought process because I want to be as transparent as possible.
I should be reinstated because I did
I
not.
realize this means of the police commission, and I now have a difficult task of finding the police department's next leader and role model. And I look forward to working with them. I know that they share my commitment to seeking a diverse
It contradicts itself.
and
about the role that I
experienced
play
pool of applicants, and to finding candidates who are committed to reform and who have demonstrated the ability to improve community police relationships. I also believe true reform does not stop with accountability only. So we must also work to reform the systems that have failed. And that is something my administration will focus on in the coming weeks and months. I'm available for a few questions.
So I'll moderate the questions one at a time. We'll stay.
Recall time.
Everyone has questions, so there's no rush and no need to panic. Start down here at the front.
Mayor, how is this decision, does the decision need to be made by the police commission as well, or is this I know last time there was some discussion between the mayor and the police commission, so I was wondering how that works.
Well, the Oakland Police Department, when the Oakland Police Department completes an investigation, their policy and practice is to make disciplinary decisions within 30 days. While I could terminate the chief at any time without cause, I said from the outset that we should treat all members of OPD the same, regardless of rank. So I am honoring that policy in setting the same standards for the chief. The 30-day timing elapsed today. And while I had hoped the commission would be able to review the investigation and recommend action, it was not able for them to do so by the deadline. And I have the
They
utmost
just got it
respect for the
yesterday.
civilian oversight process.
What a
In the end,
liar.
I am responsible for making sure we have leadership at OPD that is committed to necessary reforms, can work with the monitoring team, and have credibility before the courts.
The report said that the outside investigators were really concerned about the fact that a lot of the officers have the same attorney, including the chief, had the same attorney as was representing the sergeant in the center of misconduct, have the same attorney as
I can't even hear the question. Sorry, folks.
subjects of investigation and witnesses. Is this something that OPD and the city plan to address? It sounds like a pretty big problem. Is there some plan going forward to undo that kind of situation with conflicting legal counsel?
That is something that the city will be looking into.
J.R. Stone with ABC7. Is Oakland a safer place without Chief LeRonne Armstrong? And when will the cycle of police chiefs in the city finally stabilize?
Well, we have acting Chief Allison, who will continue to be the acting chief for the department. And I do believe that our officers, our fine officers, they come to work and show up every day to ensure that the people, the good people of the city of Oakland and businesses are safe, and they will continue to do that job.
What do you say to the criticism that the federal monitor had a vested interest in this whole process and that probably, who knows where the leak came from originally, but what's your response?
Well, if you can restate that question, please. Sorry.
What is your response to critics who have said that the federal monitor has a vested interest in getting, bringing this all to light? And the NAACP has been quite outspoken, about keeping the chief.
Well, it is our job here in the city of Oakland to keep the integrity of, investigations that are within the police department. And it is through these investigations that have given us the answers in regards to how we are moving forward in a department. And it is my job, and under this administration, we're going to move forward in a way where we are keeping, or that we're going to be working closely with the police commission and the judge and the monitor as well to ensure that we can get out over the federal oversight.
Lieutenant Omar Yassin, HR News. First, I wanted to confirm that you said the firing was without cause.
Correct.
What led to that decision? You cited numerous reasons why there would be cause, including commenting in public on the statements he made about the investigation. What led to not firing with him for cause, and does that sort of undermine the rationale for why you released him?
Well, I want to be very clear that this is not a disciplinary action. I have lost confidence in Chief Armstrong to ensure that we move forward and impact the vision for the city of Oakland.
I should be reinstated because I did nothing wrong.
Is there something about the report's findings, is there specific detail in the report's findings about Chief Armstrong that you found most concerning?
Well, I looked at the totality of the information that was given to us, including what transpired in those cases and the failure of both the disciplinary system and the leadership and the commitment to making needed changes. And so I did take a look at the totality of it, including, everything that has been said on record.
Rodriguez, Reedy. I understand it's 30 days expired. I do wonder why the timing of just an hour and a half before the police commission's meeting where they're set to discuss this is this preempting them sometime.
Well, I want to be very clear. Again, when the Oakland Police Department completes an investigation, I'll repeat that, their policy and practice is 30 days. And while I, again, could terminate the chief at any time without cause, I said from the outset that I would treat all members of OPD, no matter their rank, the same. And so because of this, I am honoring that policy in setting the same standards for the chief, which is the 30-day lapse today. I had hoped that the commission would be able to review the investigation and recommend action, but they were not able to do that. And so again, I have the utmost respect for the civilian oversight, but in the end, I am responsible for making sure we have leadership at OPD, and that is committed to necessary reforms. And we will continue to work with the police commission to find our next leader in the department. But unfortunately, in regards to this timeline, the commission was not able to make a recommendation.
Lies.
During the course of the investigation, were you able to talk to members of the Oakland Police Department and what they thought about their confidence in their chief? Because it seems like he was pretty loudly popular within the department.
So it is currently an active personnel issue. And so it is, I am not allowed to speak with people around the different personnel issues.
Sorry, Joe. This has been an issue that has been occurring over the years under different chiefs, the idea of covering up what's going on. What is replacing the chief even the answer? We've replaced the chief before.
Well, at the end of the day, we must move forward in a way where we're going to uphold the standards in the department and as a city. And under this administration, like I stated earlier, we want to treat all officers with the respect, but also treat all officers in regards to how they handle their cases. And more so than that, you know, again, this is not a disciplinary action. The chief does serve at the will of the mayor. And again, I've lost confidence in Chief LeRonne Armstrong.
So it was really just her trying to get rid of a black guy. Jesus. I was told this was going to be what she was doing. Yep.
For various types of misconduct, are you acting on those findings within the 30 days, or are you leaving that to the police commission tonight?
So she made up
Well,
something.
that's a personnel issue, and it is inappropriate for me to talk on personnel issues or any other disciplinary cases outside of this one.
Did you at least say whether or not that those, will a decision be made on those cases today? Because if it's not 30 days lapsed, then they can't be disciplined, right?
It's a personnel issue. Yes.
What did you say to the Oaklanders out there? I mean, there's been like a revolving door of chiefs. I mean, there's a lot of instability. What are you gonna say to people who are now going, well, we have another change in leadership and they're not getting our calls, not answered. People feel that way. You know, whether it's property crime or violent crime.
Well, I think that, on the contrary, I think it's necessary for us to show that OPD is committed to disciplinary processes that are fair and unbiased. And so there's many fine officers in our department who are doing the work day in and day out. They show up every day to do that work. And so with that being said, we owe them the opportunity to make sure that they are treated the same and as their colleagues in any disciplinary action. And so I know for a fact that our officers will show up, including Acting Chief Allison, will show up to ensure that we are protecting and serving the community.
Speaking to that, is there anything that's going to be done going forward to make sure that it's not just a revolving door every 2 years? Anything differently that hasn't been done in the past?
Well, we're going to make sure we're going to go work with the police commission, and with the police commission hand in glove, we are going to be searching nationwide for our next police chief. Yes.
In his first conference, Chief Armstrong has said that he doesn't hold you accountable for what he saw as an injustice against him, but he felt like he intimated that you were carrying out the bidding of Robert LaRoche. Did you clarify communication with LaRoche?
So those are opinions that I am not aware of, and so I will not be able to speak to them.
Did you personally tell the chief in person that he was fired?
I did not tell the chief in person that he was fired, but we follow the steps in regards to noticing.
How was he notified?
I will leave that up to the legal team.
She has no honor.
He didn't know ahead of us.
I will leave that up to the legal team. Thank you.
Yeah, Mayor, there have been internal and external chiefs of police who have been fired, that frustration, a lot of bosses getting preference. And I'm sorry you already addressed this, but any internal candidate or external to be mentioned.
I'm going to be working with the police commission. That is something that we would have to work on together. And so there has been, the thought of internal, external. Well, there's going to be a nationwide search. I do believe that Oakland residents deserves the best, and that's what we're looking for.
Ugh. You had the best.
Any other questions?
Can you speak to the malware situation?
We're just answering questions about the chief today,
I
but
know there's a lot of unknown questions on that this afternoon on the systems in the city.
we're not answering those questions right now. Go ahead.
Did you notify the police commission of your decision before announcing it here today?
We are in communication with all parts of of this government entity. Mm-hmm. Okay.
All right, thank you all.
Maybe let them know that their community members.
Oh, certainly, there are some.
You are looking at a live press conference there. Oakland Mayor Sheng Thao just announcing she will fire Oakland Police Chief LeRonne Armstrong for his handling of misconduct investigations on one of his sergeants. She has said, quote, she has lost confidence in the chief. This all comes after a report from an outside law firm on those investigations. The chief, for his part, has maintained he did nothing wrong and had the support of many in the community. Chief Armstrong is OPD's 12th police chief since 2009.
Yep.
Last week, our Julia Goodrich spoke to LeRonne Armstrong about how he
Okay,
handled
folks,
sitting on
I'm
the
gonna
sidelines.
let that one go.
It's tough. It is a very tough feeling to.
I'll let that go. That's I will say my own words on this. It's recall time. I'll tell you how this whole thing came to me. A longtime friend texted me that Sheng, first of all, thought that Sheng was gonna figure out a way to replace LeRonne before she got elected with her own police chief, but she didn't want it to look like she was just gonna, fire a black guy. All right, that's why I made the comments that I did. That was the whole point. So literally had to make up something. There are over 1,500 cases in internal affairs having to do with police officers that screw up, right? Of the 1,521 cases that were adjudicated within Oakland Police Department in 2021, they picked one involving Sergeant Michael Chung, because Michael Chung was with his girlfriend. They didn't know. Now, listen. This is where this is. Okay, let me share with you how ridiculous this is. I want you to listen to this carefully. I want you to put down everything you're doing, and I want you to listen to what I'm going to tell you. Okay, Michael Chung was with his girlfriend, another OPD officer in San Francisco, and whatever they did in the car when they were coming out of her apartment and got in the car, he managed to not only run into, but really ram a Mercedes-Benz white four-door to the point where its bumper got knocked off. Instead of reporting it, he drove off, hit and run. Okay? He was actually driving an unmarked Oakland police vehicle on top of that. So that initial investigation revealed the relationship, which, look, and the scope of things is really no big deal because there are a lot of Oakland police officers that have dated other Oakland police officers. That is not the first time. All right? So then, as the appropriate punishment for that accident is being unfolded, 8 months later, Michael Chung does something else that's really stupid. He gets into a freight elevator on a Saturday night, and for reasons best known only to him and what's going on in his head at the time, was he drunk? I don't know. He decides he's going to, play like he's firing his gun at something, but the doggone gun goes off. That's the way it's written, okay, in the report. Puts a bullet hole in the elevator. Where the bullet itself went, don't know. So then, Chung doesn't report it. Goes off like, it's almost like Barney Fife stuff. Oh, wow, right? Opens the door like, ooh, nothing helped you. And he runs away, right? Then people start talking about it. Hey, what's this bullet hole doing in the freight elevator? Oh, I don't know how I got there. Hey, do you know how? Hey. So all that starts, and all of a sudden, people talking to Chung about it. Chung is like, oh no, they saw it. Well, of course they saw it. It's a doggone bullet hole in an elevator, and of all places, the police headquarters. That would alarm anybody. Wouldn't alarm you, would alarm me, okay? So he finally confesses. Folks, that is the incident. Those two with this bumbling sergeant. All right? Now, in terms of the layers of divisions that are supposed to have proper oversight over something like that, over those layers of divisions, is a division called risk management. Risk management is, at the time, was brand new in 2001, actually 2022, 2001, and ran by Angelica Mendoza. Who put Angelica Mendoza in charge of it? The now former police chief Armstrong. Yeah. They are supposedly good friends. They're both deputy chiefs, same rank. When he was elevated to police chief, he made her actually the deputy chief rank. All right? So, guess what? Inexplicably, there's no report of risk management ever touching that incident. Why? Internal Affairs did. Okay. But overall, because of the nature of it, I mean, think about it. Officer accidentally hits a car with his girlfriend, who's an OPD officer. Officer actually shoots his gun off, all right? In terms of the list of things that Internal Affairs has to deal with, that's not like a major thing, okay? It just isn't. So for the mayor to paint it as if it's major, as if it's some sort of example of dereliction of duty and all this, is a complete lie. In fact, Mayor Thao actually revealed the lie that she's telling, and I'm saying it straight out, in the middle of her own press conference, when she said that she began to not believe. This is what Sheng's just said, all right? She said she's beginning to, she said she started to not believe him or could question him after she heard him say that what the officers did essentially wasn't really serious. And it wasn't. That's the truth. That's the truth. But it sounds more to me like Sheng is angry that LeRonne ginned up all of this support and got PR help to put his side of the story out there. That's what it looks like to me. All right? Sheng made a ton of mistakes here, all to the point of covering up her real intentions to satisfy a small set of people who think they're progressive when they're not, to get in somebody they want when they don't even know who that is, and remove LeRonne Armstrong. All right? Some of those folks are black, some white. All in total a small subset of Oakland, including Oakland politics and everything else. One of them ran for mayor and lost. Okay? But when that person ran for mayor, that person lost. That person almost lost their marbles. Now they're back. What does all this have to do with running a police department? None. And they think that by removing LeRonne Armstrong, this is the picture, by removing LeRonne Armstrong, somehow, automatically, OPD is going to reform, when in point of fact, everyone has said, including the federal monitor himself, that Oakland Police Department had made significant strides. But, this just happens to be, or what should have been, the final year of his contract. But Sheng wants to keep it going. We're going to keep paying this guy $1 million? What's going on between the two of them? All right? I am not being nice about this. Because everybody saw it coming while we were going in this direction. Because there was no case to pick, all right, other than this one. Who is informing the federal monitor? The federal monitor does not have a seat in the Oakland Police Department. Do you know where the federal monitor is based out of? North Carolina. Yeah, we're sending $1 million to this dude who's in North Carolina, who's noted for evergreening contracts. Robert Warshaw is noted for inventing reasons to keep cities feeding money to him. Okay? It's just the most scandalous thing in the world. You think the Raiders deal's bad? You got Robert Reich making stupid videos about sports stadiums? No. Forget that. His time would be better spent making videos about police consultants that drains cities of valuable tax dollars by making up the idea that there's something wrong with the department they're realizing, so you can keep the money going to them. That's what Robert Shaw is known for doing. That is a fact. A noted, decorated city administrator told me that. Okay? Period. And so we're going to continue to be under the thumb of this dude for what? How long? This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. What kind of deal did Sheng have going? Hey, if you say to the Ethics Commission to drop my cases, then I'll drop LeRonne Armstrong? Something weird. Now you'd say, what do I mean? I'll tell you what I mean. And I certainly hope some of you who are working and representing Sheng are listening to this right now. Because I'm letting you know full force what people are saying, what the problems are, and the rancor that you have caused. And it is considerable. All right? Considerable. You let it out. This idea that you were going to get rid of LeRonne without a plan, without a backup, at a time when you don't even have a city administrator, at a time where, according to LinkedIn, I'm qualified to be your city administrator. But I made the decision that I am not going to apply. Because the city is in such bad shape that I would feel used in writing what I think the city should do to you all, or for you all, to get things better, by my recommendation as an applicant. Because I have no confidence in the administration's ability to make the right decisions or pick the right people. I have the text messages from Raina Webb. I have text messages I haven't even released. I have some. But overall, they depict an organization that is this close to a racketeer-influenced, corrupt organization, and I'm putting you all on notice. Because unless you clean up your act and become organized, that's exactly what you wind up being indicted for. And I'm saying this crystal clear. This is a dark time in Oakland's history. And it's dark because of the way the mayor chooses to run the city. With deception, with emotion, with non-professionalism, with a set of relationships that's described by many as incestuous. And no, I don't mean in that way either. I mean in a way that's worse. When I wrote, after Raina Webb resigned and put out the email for every city employee to see, and was passed to me, that Oakland was essentially back with the Borgias, where people only elevated by assassination, by murder, or sex, I was told I wasn't far off. It is sadly true. A number of people have said that what Sheng did today, she was going to do all along. She made it up. And she made it clear that she made it up with that example used of a press conference that Chief Armstrong gave last week. Listen to this. Last week, okay? Last week, after he was put on paid leave. Man simply defending himself, saying, hey, look, this is what happened. But rather than reviewing any reports, because there are none that said what I'm about to say, that would say, oh, by the way, yeah, LeRonne handled this incorrectly, and he made mistakes in violation of law A, B, C, and D, which we haven't heard, because he didn't, okay? Instead of that, you mean to tell me that she happened to see him on television and got triggered because he was defending himself. That is what the mayor said. That is what the mayor said. She said that she thinks that because the mayor didn't appropriately punish a bumbling sergeant, who, by the way, is still there, Michael Chung. I could ask the question, is she just simply choosing to defend Michael Chung in that system in an indirect way? Why would Rania Webb's text messages include one where then Oakland District 4 Council member Sheng Thao was asking Ms. Webb about an Asian chief, Alameda County chief, or sheriff, excuse me. All right, this is in writing, folks. I have the text. I have it. I have it. This stuff is disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Yeah, it's recall time because we cannot have a city ran this way. This is ridiculous. We're starting off, and this is, look, arguably worse than anything Mayor Schaaf has done in her 8 years. Okay? And I'm telling you, as bad as it looks right now, it's going to get worse. Do you understand? Mark my words. You heed my paragraphs to you. It's going to get worse. Because she will feel emboldened for what she has done. Which happens in her actions without thought about consequences. Why? Because she's wanted this position simply for power. And as Leanna Powell told me when I interviewed her, Leanna Powell, if you don't know that name, is a now former staff member who worked for Sheng Thao for 3 months, but was fired because she refused to work on her campaign for mayor, which, by the way, you can't do by law. I don't care what people do informally, but formally you can't do that. She was bullied, had lies made up about her, all kinds of things that are now such that since the 28th of October of last year have risen to the level of a full investigation. Not a consideration, a full investigation on the part of the Public Ethics Commission. Then there are 2 others which were in the review status, which I don't know if they were risen to the level of investigation or not, because the Public Ethics Commission isn't in the habit of making that public. All right? That's 3 cases in the investigation that the Ethics Commission had under its belt when Sheng walked into office. And I can go on. That does not include Rania Webb, who quit for similar reasons, but worse. Allegations of assault, verbal and physical. Allegations. So now, Sheng thought things would be better by dumping them out and getting new people, except for one person. And everybody right now is interim. Interim. Who among quality candidates will actually want to work for the city of Oakland under these circumstances? This is the internet age. Word travels fast. Sheng decided to fire a police chief who just happened to be popular with the black community in Oakland? I mean, woohoo, 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 woohoo. I mean, seriously? You know? That's like saying to the black community, You don't matter. Sheng just told Oakland's black community that what they think matters nothing to her. In fact, she kind of telegraphed that when she was giving that press conference, the African American Sports Entertainment Group. Turns around and starts using black slang to talk to the crowd. You think I'm joking? I got that on video. Seriously. I'm thinking, no, you actually are not doing this, are you? Really? Huh? Really? Mayor Thao is someone that I have liked for a long, long time because I didn't think she was the kind of person who would do the things that she has done. Somewhere along the way, she took the wrong turn. And she's still taking that wrong turn. She decided to run for mayor and adopted not just a course, but a change in her approach and persona that has caused some very awful events in this city's history already. Already. And we're not even into March. You should cry for Oakland. And pray for better days. Because right now, they're not coming immediately. I don't know, I'll come on with other people later, but just not happy. I feel sorry for LeRonne, who had to put up with going through all this, who worked loyally and diligently. And let me say something else too. The mayor essentially is getting after the police chief for not throwing his own people under the bus. Okay? Even though someone among them worked to throw him under the bus behind the scenes. To his last, LeRonne Armstrong did not do that. Say what you will about the blue line and everything else. This is about representing the people you work for, that you go to work with, that you help to protect in the process of protecting the community. People that you've known for decades, you've grown up with, partied with, and cried with, and laughed with. So here comes this outsider, here comes the mayor, essentially saying that she is punishing. I mean, I can't believe this. She's punishing Chief Armstrong for not doing what? Firing a bumbling cop because he was bumbling off duty? All right? We've had worse situations. We had the Celeste Guap situation, to name one example. We have situations also that I don't know about that are worse. Maybe you do. How is anyone supposed to turn around and spend a ton of time on a bumbling cop? Out of the 1,500 cases that Internal Affairs has to deal with in that year. Wow. Stay tuned for more. Not a good day. We got to get a better mayor. We got to right this ship. And I'm saying that. I have prayed for Sheng to get it together, but I no longer feel my prayers are being heard because they're not getting to her through the Lord. Okay? I'm saying it just like that. I have a history with Oakland that goes back to 1974, and from a career standpoint, back to 1986. It's my first job going in grad school. Before I worked planning jobs in the city of Fort Worth and the city of Dallas, while in undergraduate school. I went from being an intern to a city consultant because of a computer model that I made. I then went on to be consultant for 3 redevelopment agencies, Oakland, San Francisco, and Emeryville. I served on the Alameda-based reuse committee, which is really the Oakland-based reuse committee on top of everything else. I started Oakland's first blog. That 14th and Broadway AC transit station is there because of my work in unsticking a political quagmire that existed way back in 1997. And go on and on and on. I have a longer history in this city than your current mayor does. In fact, it's as long as she has been alive. Actually, a little longer. I know this city. I know what it can do. I know it's capable of doing, and I know when it's tanking. And right now, it is tanking something terrible. We cannot have the kind of leadership that quite literally appears to be destroying it as she is elevated. This is about Sheng's ego. This is about Sheng exacting punishment on the world because of personal matters she went through, which are tearfully sad. This isn't anything about Oakland's real problems. In fact, while all this has gone on, they've just gotten worse, and she hasn't addressed them. More later. Subscribe to Zennie62 and bookmark oaklandnewsnowblog.com.